All right. Hey, hello. How's it going, everybody? Um, you'll have to forgive me. This is my very first time live streaming, so I am just. Oh, there's 5 people here. Oh, what a nice thing. That's so great. So welcome to AA&E's live stream, Infinity and Beyond. And this, our first episode, we are going to be talking about celebrating autistic culture. Um, before I jump into that, though, I want to just make sure that I'm acknowledging everybody. Oh my God, the number's growing. That's so cool. So to the 7 of us that are here right now, that's awesome. Thank you for being here. My name is Liv, by the way. I work at AA&E. I have for about 6 years now. My pronouns are she, they, and I do a lot of our groups that we run here. Um, and so. Yeah, some of you may have seen me before, but in case I'm meeting you for the first time, it is great to um, be able to present in front of you and all that stuff. So thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Um, so celebrating autistic culture is the name of this episode, and so my first question, I just wanted to ask a very broad, um, what is autistic culture to you? If you and you can be as detailed or brief as you want with the answer to that. So I would just love it if either folks could type in the chat, or like if you wanted to, I guess I don't know of a different way to communicate here. So if you can type in the chat, then I would love to hear what autistic culture means to you. If you don't know what that is, or you're hoping to learn what that is over the course of today, that's totally fine. We're here for community and swapping ideas and all that cool stuff. And I also do want to mention really quick, we were having a slight issue with permissions for letting people type into the chat. So if it's saying that you're not able to right now, then next month we are gonna have that fixed. So our apologies if that's not working for you right now. Um, but yeah, so the question is, what is autistic culture to you? Um, and I'm gonna go ahead and answer that myself while some responses trickle in over here. Um, and anybody anybody who has already typed in the chat can answer this as well. Um, but to me, autistic culture is it's so many things. But one of my favorite parts about it is there's um, an incredible trust that I feel between speaking with folks who are also neurodivergent. Um, and this innate understanding that for lack of a better term, folks just kind of like get, get it, when I'm speaking with them, um, and it and like that comes from like us kind of having grown up in similar fashions, having similar mindsets. Lots of the times we have similar views on justice and ways that we can present ourselves. Excuse me. And it makes me feel very seen, very um, you know, very uh, like just part of a community, and it's just really nice, and it feels very calm and trusting, which is something that I can't share with everybody all the time, unfortunately. Um, and I just really like that level of understanding that lots of folks get to be on with each other. Um, and it can branch out into so many more um, nuances than other than what I just said. But we only have about another half hour right now, so I'm gonna see if other folks have more responses. So I'm gonna see what just came into the chat. Um, We have one that says, being able to be myself and being extremely passionate about my interests, such as autism and disability rights. That's awesome. That's a really great. That's a really great thing to be able to be passionate about. Um, and it. Sorry about that. Um, So yeah, so like we do have incredible passion, us us folks with Spectrum Hood, and it it ranges to all sorts of different things. And you know, Ruth, I'm thrilled that your passions are with disability rights and autism itself. You know, we could always use more understanding and um, just information and excitement about those things. Um, and I think that's really cool too, that, autistic folks can have autism itself as a passion. Or I don't know if the term special interest is something that we vibe with, but like it is it's certainly cool to have us be interested in ourselves, which kind of like that goes to the notion I'm sure that we've all heard about how like there can be nothing that is about us without us. And I think that all of us on the spectrum deserve to have this kind of input, but particularly um if like if you are an autistic person who has taken an incredible interest in autism, then that is just that's just wonderful. um there's you know I feel like we are obviously the most qualified to talk about ourselves, so taking that as an interest is really a great thing. So thank you, Ruth. Thank you for that comment. I just got another comment from a direct message, saying to or asking about um, how love languages differ between neurotypical folks and autistic folks. And so I remember I saw this meme that like just surmised it really, really well. And it was something like like an autistic love language is pressure so deep it crushes me into the floor. Like I know that's not a thing for everybody, of course, and it's just a meme. It's very generalizing, but like it's just a funny thing because it's like so different from um like what people typically talk about as love languages. Um but I hmm, like it's so funny because like we talk about like info dumping as a love language, like maybe like we're going to be like around fellow autistic folks and it's like, okay, like here's everything that I've been doing and then here's everything that I've been doing, and that's very much a mutual thing for sure. um and yeah, I love doing that personally. I think that's really cool. um yeah, and like I don't know if folks have experienced this too, but like trauma swapping, like not giving each other trauma. That's not what I mean, but like talking about all of the stuff that you've found you know to be hurtful towards yourself with another person who is with spectrum hood and just gets that kind of thing. Personally, I love doing that because it makes me feel like, again, like this is like a certain kind of person who just gets it and like it's just fine. Um, so yeah, that is a nice thing that I like that too. Um, in that same direct message that prompted this, I'm hearing parallel play is another one of those autistic love languages. Because like yeah, like for those who I'm sure everybody watching this knows, but just in case, parallel play is where you are each doing your own thing but side by side in each other's company. So like for me, like I'm a musician, right? Like I always keep my guitar next to me, so I will very often just be like practicing away and like just doing my thing while one of my friends or one of my partners is like doing whatever they're doing. And I love that. I view that as incredible quality time. um, so I I don't know if folks empathize with that. Um, but yeah, for sure. Um, is there anybody else who has thoughts on what they view autistic culture to be? I hope the chat is open at this point. If not, that's totally fine, and I'm not, you know, yeah, I hope that's fine. Um, but yeah, feel free to keep commenting on that. I'm seeing a few responses here. Parallel play is my love language. Yeah, I get that for sure, for sure. Um, so actually, you know what's funny? Like, I just want to, since I brought my guitar, I'm gonna have my own little thing on this. Um, so part of autistic culture that I think is really important is how things differ in the workplace, because typically it like, put yourself in my shoes for a moment. If I showed up to a work meeting, and like, barring what you might think of as an acceptable way to present yourself in a work meeting, um, if I were to show up with this in my hand, um, some folks might think that's a little strange, and even be like, "Liv, why do you have that here?" But I have this partially because I just love it, but also because I'm just incredibly fidgety, um, and I like having this here so that I can actually just do something with my hands while I'm sitting in meetings for potentially 3 hours a day. And so that is something that, as far as the workplace is concerned, I would love to become more normal, like just having STEM toys or things like that. And for me, that is just having a guitar. And yeah, I hope that things like that become more normalized for the future. So for me, having this here is really like a tool for success, even though it looks like I might just be like, goofing off doing my thing here. But like, it's, I promise it helps me focus more. And I have heard plenty of stories from folks who um, have stories about how they focus better when they're able to do things like not make eye contact, or be able to fidget, or be able to stand up and walk around, as opposed to like having to sit still face forward with like the hands still, like sounds like a nightmare, like um so that's I think that would be like a great adjustment to happen for the workplace. um I also, I could see the same things happening for like a school environment, um, and you know, like being able to or like not having to like sit still and do all that stuff. I'm gonna read some more of the chat and see if other folks have chimed in now. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So okay. So Mina, what you bring up is incredibly what's the word I'm looking for? I feel that is what I'm saying. And yeah, it's awesome to be able to have that genuine trust between people who are also on the spectrum, or at least some kind of neurodivergent. And I agree that like you can generally just like trust folks who have like a similar neurodivergency. I've found that often us autistic folks aren't trying to get one over on somebody else when we are, asking a question. I'm sure, I'm sure every autistic person watching this has gone through the what's the word I'm looking for? The experience where we have like said something or made a comment about something that was just taken wildly the wrong way. Like I can name so many times where like I asked a question and like, people were like, "Oh my god, like ouch," or like, "Ooh, that was really blunt." And it's like, dude, like I could just I just want to know, like, um, but like typically between fellow autistic folks, that is less, if any, of a problem at all. Um, so it's nice to be able to trust folks like that, and this actually makes me think too, because this is something that I tell my friends all the time. Because being, in the field, my friends will ask me about what my work is like, and inevitably some of them will be like, like I don't know, like I might have autism, and like um, one of the things that I ask them to assess for themselves is do you hang out with a lot of other neurodivergent folks? Because like really truly like kin attract kin, right? And so like I feel like even unconsciously folks on the spectrum will attract other folks on the spectrum, and like be attracted to other folks on the spectrum, like purely because like our vibe is like pretty similar. And part of that is feeling that genuine trust between you and another person. And so like obviously this isn't a clinical measure by any means, but like I personally find it very telling if somebody can tell me certainly, like, yeah, a lot of my friends are like autistic or have ADHD, and it's like, yeah, okay, like, like maybe you should check that out within yourself, buddy. Oh man. um for sure, yeah. um So while we are here, and like just about at the halfway mark, I want to make sure that I just plug a little bit of AA&E stuff. So be sure, please, to check out our website, which is www.aane.org. And we have an events section on that website that tells of all of the events that we are coming up. Ryan Walsh just put that in our chat. So if you want to go directly to those events, by all means, go for it. Um, and Yeah, for sure. So that's it. That's all my plug had to be. For sure. So, and like again, I'm dearly sorry for the chat being restricted like this. We are like actively working on it right now behind the scenes to try and open it up to everybody. And Guaranteed next month when we do this again, it's going to be a lot more open, and hopefully conversation will be able to flow more, and like we won't have to just listen to me talk at myself. You know what I mean? um, so gosh, I really wish that that the chat was working too, because like this is a community event after all, and we want to hear what you guys would like to talk about too, because this isn't like a curriculum that like we're building just for people to see. This really is an event like for like us all together, and like before being an employee of AA&E, I am a person on the spectrum first and foremost, and so I just feel like, getting like a good real time conversation going, at least starting with a prompt of such things each time, is going to be really nice. So if you're here and hearing me, there's a whole 15 of you, 14, whoops. There's a whole 14 of you here hearing me. So if you can't comment, please at least hold your ideas until next month. Um, the first Monday of every month is when we're going to hold these, and I would love to hear what you want to talk about, because like I said, this is a big community thing. Um, Absolutely. So yeah, let us know. Whenever you're able to. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you much. I'm reading the chat again. There's a few things in there. Um, So a big part of this is a great one from Ryan. So he says that I think a big part of it is the conversational satisfaction between autistic people. Um, and like neurodivergent people in general. That's awesome. Yeah, I thank you for putting a term to that. Conversational satisfaction is incredible because, like, okay, so like, if you're autistic and hearing this, think about like how you have to like cater your speech to different types of folks. And especially certain neurotypical folks who like expect a certain kind of social rapport. It's a lot of energy to be able to do that. And with lots of different neurodivergent folks, you just kind of don't have to. And so not only is it less energy, but it also is more authentic. And I think that's just a wonderful piece of being able to communicate with each other. Um, Personally, with lots of my neurodivergent friends, I find that I'm able to be the most myself and also the least judged. If like anything that is worth judging comes up, I guess that was a really harsh way to phrase that because like I don't really hang out with people who are that judgmental, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Like I feel very comfortable with my fellow neurodivergent friends. Um, so that's a nice thing for sure. Um, so thank you for that, Ryan. I appreciate it. Just checking up on the chats that I'm here for. Yeah, sure. Aaron, I see you put one in on employment bias and advocacy. Um, that's huge for sure. Um, so we, like it would of course be nice if interviews and ways to network were more neurodivergent friendly. I'm sure that some folks have experienced this where either finding a job or interviewing for a job or keeping a job has just been mind-numbingly difficult. And part of that is because of like workplace regulation or not regulations, expectations, social culture at offices and stuff. And generally and then like office like or not sorry, I just had a little brain fart, excuse me. Even live we make mistakes, so bear with me. But um yeah, so like what there's a term for this and it's just not coming to my head. Like it's I don't know, like the way that you're asked to present at work, like you're like when you're having to um I don't know, like present yourself as an employee. I'm sorry, I'm not describing that properly. Um, thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. But yeah, so like it's so this is actually really funny. Or not funny. It's not like haha funny. It's like oh my god funny. Um, where I actually I was able to find a research study um recent or semi recently where this somebody named what was her name, Dr. Cheryl L. Dichter made a or did a study on being able to or sorry, seeing implicit bias when you meet a an autistic person, and the idea was that she was trying to test if autistic folks are met with bias literally from the get-go when they're met by when we are met by neurotypical folks. And what she found suggested that neurotypical folks do indeed hold some sort of implicit bias when meeting somebody on the spectrum. um, I'm sorry I don't have the link on hand, but if I can find that before the end of the stream here, then I will put that in the chat. But I just wanted to make that known because I'm sure that lots of us who are on the spectrum have felt that at some point where, like, you start talking to somebody and the minute, like, you can kind of tell that they can tell that you're not like as like the same kind of person that they are, then the conversation starts to go south. And like I've heard so many stories about folks like talking about how when they um you know like when they can tell that somebody is being really not like or is being like infantilizing or like dismissive or anything like that. Yeah, it's a tough moment for sure. So I just wanted to bring that up because like it's like that of course translates to the workplace. And like when you're seeking employment and you can feel that happening, it can almost feel like wow, like employers just kind of don't like who I am as a person, and that really sucks. Like I'm sorry, like I'm laughing, but like it's just because it's a ridiculous situation. Like it shouldn't be like that. It's absolutely crazy. um and like it like in a perfect world, of course we would be accepting of everybody no matter how they like to communicate. But people people tend to like people that are most like them. And I feel like um privileged neurotypical folks tend to be a big culprit of that, where they will try to or not try to, but they will like close off if it's not something that's very comfortable for them. So yeah, that of course like makes its way into employment. You might be sitting in an interview and you can name that moment where it's like, oh, well, they're not treating me like like a real person anymore. Oh my god. um, so yeah, that was a good one, Aaron. Thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for the encouragement as well. I appreciate it. Um, do, 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 do. Just catching up with the chat. There's some more in here. Um, So masking is a big thing. I'm like again, I'm sure we all know what masking is to a degree, but just to say it out loud, it's where you have to wear the quote unquote mask of neurotypicality and walk around like you're just like everybody else. Um, and that takes a ton of energy too. It's Yeah, it takes a ton of energy to do that. And I just I think that on two levels makes us yeah, Sam, I agree. It makes us easily burned out for sure. So that actually is like, thank you for saying that, because that actually swings right into what I was trying to say here, where it's like it can be like it's exhausting, and we can all empathize with that notion. And like any neurodivergent person I think would be able to. um, but it also makes our genuine conversations between each other so much more valuable. And I feel like it almost like this contributes to a feeling that I love calling my autistic family, because I feel like whenever I'm talking to somebody who is of a similar mindset to me and just kind of like gets it in that way, I feel like I've like come home and like I'm able to just relax. I can just sit on the couch and talk however I want and like not have to worry about anything at all. Um, so, like I love that feeling of home, and I find it with a lot of my neurodivergent friends. So that's pretty cool. Um, so thank you for that. Yeah, that was in a direct message. I just got that one. Um, yeah, Sam, thank you for saying that. Like, it's really remarkable that like we can be like almost completely different at home. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. And like I empathize with that on a level because like so I'm a musician. I'm in a death metal band, and on stage I'm like just this ravenous being that incites mosh pits and tells everybody to like like be super rowdy. But at home, I am very you know quiet and gentle and like I just like cooking and reading books, man. Like that's that's what I like to do. Um, so like it's really wild how masking can um, be present in all forms of life because I typically think about masking as something that you're meant to do as you are going to the office or just like being out in public, but like it excuse me, it will sometimes permeate to your passions as well. Like I don't know how many of you guys play D&D, but even when I'm like out playing D&D with my buddies, because that's like a nice weekly thing that we do, um, I still have a bit of a mask on. Um, there's very few places where I can completely take it off, and I know that a lot of autistic folks can empathize with that. Um, for sure, for sure, for sure. Um, just I'm so sorry again. I just really wish that there was more that like we could just have the chat again because I wanted to ask if folks are comfortable disclosing this. How many of y'all identify as gender divergent or have any sort of fluidity in your identity or sexuality? Because personally, as a trans person, my autism actually really helped inform me of who I am. I remember searching for how I felt most comfortable when I was this was like a year ago. Yeah, yeah. It's funny. Like I'll give a brief synopsis of how I came to realize I was trans. Um, so I when I was 16, actually I'll share this quote with y'all because this is really funny. But um good. We love advocates too. Thank you, Aaron. But yeah, so like when I was 16, I remember I was rounding the corner to go to a study hall. Um and I remember I forget how this thought got prompted, but I just remember thinking to myself like, "Gosh, I am such a lesbian," and then just like like went on with my day after that. And I was like now looking back at that, I was like, "Honey, like you should have known." Oh my god. Anyway, so that was the first time that I thought about it, but the first time that I realized what it meant was when I was 21. And then the first time that I was not afraid to let it in was about 2 years ago. And so at that time, I was ready to start trying to understand who I am, like as a person with a gender. And to me, performing gender in the way that I was taught to growing up just did not make sense. And for a while, I subscribed to the very neurodivergent thought of, hey, expressing a gender is really hard, so I have decided to stop. And that worked for me for a while, but then I discovered my love of femininity, and I've been on that track ever since. Um, but it started with that notion of performing gender is hard. And I feel like that was very much informed by my autism as part of a form of masking. I was masking as, a guy for a while, which was not working for me. And then even with like alterations to that, it still wasn't working. And it took abandoning gender to come to realize what my gender actually is. And I think that's really important. Um, I just heard a strange beep and I don't know what it meant. Um, okay. Um, oh, there's so many awesome comments in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna take a second to read them. Um, Performing gender is torture. Hell yeah, dude. I completely agree. Sorry if you don't like dude. That's my bad. I didn't mean it that way. I should have checked myself there. Um, yeah, Kat, I empathize with what you're saying there. It's like in the opposite direction because it's like 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 it's something you can just feel sometimes. Um, for sure. Um, I think I'm gonna like address all of the nice comments that just came up, and then I think we're gonna wrap up after that. So let me just make sure that I get to all of these. Um, Oh, Kat, I see that. Okay, thank you for saying this. That you got diagnosed with autism a month ago, and you're bipan and probably non-binary. Yeah, for sure. So, thank you for saying that because, like, one of the questions that I love to ask my queer support groups that I run is, "What did you know you had first, autism or your queer identity?" Um, and it's yeah, it's really cool to be able to talk about that. And typically from there I will ask if one or the other informed how you came to realize the second. So thank you for saying that. That is something to um, consider for sure. Oh, Mina, I love that. Wavy, that's a great term. That's so awesome. um, Starting or sorry, not being straight, but not gay in a binary way either. Like, yeah, that rules. That absolutely rules for sure. Yeah, to me, that reads like is almost on like the level of like gender anarchy, where it's like, like who, like, it's almost just like if you are attracted to somebody, cool. Like it kind of doesn't matter, what they might be presenting as or what their parts might be. Like, I like that a lot. I like that term. Thank you for saying that. Um, Yeah, okay. So gender anarchy is a term. If you were to search that in Google, you'll come up with some really cool progressive thought leaders who are really talking about that. I'm actually gonna plug somebody who I um, really look up to, who uh, who talks about this a lot. I just put them in the chat. Their name is Alok Menon, and they are a non-binary person who talks a lot about just self-expression and not adhering to a gender binary, and also just expressing love in its most honest ways. If you like that sort of rhetoric, you should definitely follow that person. They're on Instagram just under their name. So yeah, it's a cool thing for sure. Um, yes, yes, yes. Um, just checking one more comment here. Okay, so I think we are just going to go ahead and wrap up here. Thank you so much for coming to the pilot of our live stream. Again, next time, May 1st, Monday, May 1st, we will have the chat open and not set to this weird subscriber only section. Like we worked really hard to try and get that turned off beforehand, but we need to, figure that out, I guess. So next time the chat will be more open and hopefully we can have a more back and forth dialogue. Um, so thank you guys for being here. This is really great. Please be sure to check out our website and see what kind of cool stuff you might enjoy through us. And I still want to hear more about what autistic culture means to you. So if you have a connect with AA&E, feel free to message. You can also just message me. My contact is on our website. So if you go there, excuse me, if you go there, you will be able to find me, and I'll be happy to hear everything that you have to say. I really encourage it. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here. This was really great. I appreciate all of your attention, and you guys are awesome. Lots of love. Until next time.